What's happening, people? And welcome back to my live. Today, I'll be speaking about what it's like to be self-employed, but also what it's like to be employed. From a tradesperson perspective, I am a plumber. I've been a plumber for over 21 years, and it's always nice to hear someone's perspective who is actually in the industry. So let's start with the people who are self-employed. Self-employed means that you are practically near enough your own boss. Yeah, you do get paid by someone, so you're not totally the boss, but self-employed meaning that you're employed or contracted by contractors, or you do jobs which might be a job for a single person or a single client or a landlord or something like that. You might be in classed as self-employed, and you will do your self-assessment, your tax assessments is yourself, or you'll have an accountant who you go to who takes the deductions, and your company might be VAT registered and all of that type of stuff, depending if you earn over a certain threshold, right? That's what the self-employed people are doing. The people who are employed get one paycheck, they get sick pay. That might be statutory sick pay. They have they might have certain benefits from the company. So the company might have a package, and they might have a deal where, I don't know, you put in 3% of your wages into your pension, and they'll match it by giving you another 3%, and now you have 6% going into your pension. It's something stupid like that. But the differences between the two people are only just to do with employment status, right? And employment status, when you go to fill out forms, they'll say, are you fully employed? Are you employed, or are you self-employed? If you're self-employed, sometimes there might be more questions what they want from you as a self-employed. Like if you were self-employed, you could get a mortgage, but they need you to show more receipts than they would do of someone who's employed. That's just a fact as well. But one thing I do want to say with being self-employed and employed, the difference is when it comes to it from a tradesperson's perspective, which is someone like myself, is the self-employed allows you to have this comfortability, or it allows you to have the understandable comfortability that you're able to see a lot more of your money than other people would, right? So let's say a contractor comes into a hospital, and he's an outside contractor, and he's self-employed through another contractor, right? He comes, he looks at the work, he says it's this much, he bills for it, and he's going to get paid for that. It might be inflated as a bill, but do you know what? That's how they make their money. Some of the prices might have to be a little bit higher than what they might normally be if it was like done within house. And someone who's employed would be working at a hospital or something like that. Again, there's a job what needs to be done. They get the materials, they get them ordered in through the workplace. They don't pay out their own money or nothing, or don't have an account or something. And they fix the job during their working hours or outside working hours if necessary. And they might get paid money for doing that job on the weekend or something like that, which might be an extra like £150 on top of their wages, but that's that. And maybe the other person who done the same specific job as a contractor might be charging £400, right? But the money probably gets split up in a lot more different ways. So it might only end up him only getting like £200 of that job, but it's a higher amount than the 150. Do you get what I mean? I'm just trying to explain it in different scenarios, right? But what I would say is just that people who are self-employed and employed, there is always a little bit of a battle what goes on between them, you know, which one's better, which one's king, but it's down to the individual, and circumstances suit you to be self-employed, and some circumstances might suit you to be employed. At a time of crisis, you're going to be obviously making sense of having a full-time employment over having self-employed, where you have to look for your work. or you have to go out and work for your work, where you're working somewhere and employed, you know you're guaranteed work and you're guaranteed 25 days or 22 days holiday, whatever it might be, set with your employer, with your contract. So that's the people who are employed. They have a contract, contractual hours and stuff like that. When you're self-employed, there can be contractual hours to your contract which you're on, but it's probably going to be pacificated, or people are going to outline that with the contract which you do have, which might only be 6 months or 5 months or 2 weeks or whatever it might be. I just wanted to come on here to make a better version of the video which I put out before, which was explaining about self-employed and employed, right? Just so we can get a good understanding, because I get a lot of young tradespeople message me and say, I want to be self-employed. And I say to them, it's not easy, you know, it's not easy for anybody to keep up that level of work, because you're relying on yourself, you're relying on you not to be sick, and you're relying on you to get every job done down to the T, because going back kind of wastes time. And no one's never got any time to waste. You get what I mean? But it's a great thing to do if you can do it, because you can reap a lot of the rewards and the money from it. And that's why we're here to do. The trade is the money at the end of the day. Not saying that the money is totally rubbish in full-time employment, but when you know what you can do as a tradesperson, you kind of add things up, and you start adding stuff up because you will get to know prices as you do over the years. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Hope you enjoyed it. And I just wanted to clear up the differences between self-employed and employed. Enjoy.